Well, if you're a gun voter in Uinta County, Evanston to be precise, you have a choice to make in the upcoming August 20 Republican Party primary. Representative Ryan Berger or his challenger, Bob Wharff. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the Wyoming House? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Wyoming Gun Owners. The primary is coming up very quick now, and in Uinta County, Evanston to be exact, we're getting asked about this primary matchup between former state rep Bob Wharff and current state rep Ryan Berger, House District 49. The question you're asking us this time of year is always the same thing. It's not who says they're pro-gun, because everyone says they're pro-gun, whether it's true or not, we all know that. The question is much more simple. Who can we count on? Who can we trust? How do we know that if we elect this guy or gal, they'll actually go to Cheyenne and fight to defend our gun rights? It's an important question, guys. It happens all the time. Someone campaigns on gun rights and then votes against our gun rights or tries to weaken our gun rights in Cheyenne. So in this video, we're not going to tell you who to vote for. We will give you the backstory and the details you have to make a more informed decision. We're going to use candidate surveys, actual votes taken by both of these guys, and public statements made for or against your gun rights to give you a deep dive. We're going to begin with Ryan Berger. So Ryan's been in office for 2 years. And in that time, Ryan has not been much of an ally to gun owners in Wyoming. That's the short version. Unfortunately, in this cycle, Ryan has refused to fill out his WYGO gun rights candidate survey. And when a candidate will not survey, it almost always means they intend to screw over gun owners if they are elected. Doesn't happen every single time, but pretty much every single time, that's what that means. If they won't do this now, when they have to have our support at election time as gun voters, how would they act in the future? That's the question you have to ask yourself. But in Ryan's case, you don't have to ask the question because we've got actual details here, bad things that Ryan has done in office. For example, last session we passed Senate File 109. This bill bans red flag gun seizures in Wyoming. You all know what a red flag law is. They have them in Colorado and lots of states, but nearby Colorado. It allows someone who doesn't like you, could be an ex-spouse, it could be a liberal college professor, neighbor of yours, someone who doesn't like you calls the police and says, hey, this guy might be dangerous. The police call the judge and say, hey, this guy might be dangerous. The judge then signs the order, because they always sign the order, and your guns are gone. That's how things have been in lots of states now for the last 4 or 5 years. We have banned that forever in Wyoming with Senate File 109. But the rhinos didn't like it. Excuse me. So on that path towards passing the bill, they ran amendments that were designed to weaken the impact of the bill. So if they couldn't stop it, they dang sure tried to weaken it with amendments. One of the amendments this session, amendment number 3004, on Senate File 109, was filed by Representative Bob Nicholas. This was a kill amendment. It was designed to gut and kill the bill while leaving it intact for passage. The amendment was very simple. It said you cannot do a red flag seizure order here in Wyoming unless a judge signs off. That's what the amendment did. It pretty much said you can't do a red flag, but if a judge says you can, go ahead and red flag them. It was designed to totally kill the bill, and Ryan Berger voted yes on that amendment this session. Again, look it up for yourself. Senate File 109, amendment number H3004, exempts all judicial orders from SF 109. Shameful stuff. Again, they don't have the guts to vote no on the bill on the floor, so they use amendments designed to kill the bill, weaken the bill, gut the bill behind closed doors, or in this case on the floor, as a plan B. And Ryan Berger backed that with a handful of other rhinos in the chamber. Bad stuff this session when it comes to Ryan Berger. Now, also this year we passed House Bill 125. This repeals deadly gun-free zones. You're all aware of this. We have a lot of them actually here in Wyoming. HB 125 would reverse that stupid, dangerous policy. We got it done. We got it to Governor Gordon's desk, and then, of course, as you all know, he vetoes the bill as a favor to all the anti-gun lobbyists here in Cheyenne. And so then, since we were adjourned for the year, we had to do a special vote to convene a special session to come back to Cheyenne and override that governor's veto. We had to have a simple majority in the House to get that done. We were this close to doing it, And then Ryan Berger, when push came to shove, voted no, voted with the Democrats and the rhinos, and he opposed the call for a special session. And so what that meant is we could not reconvene in Cheyenne, and the bill died. So right now, we have all these gun-free zones across the state where we are helpless. We are disarmed in these areas because Ryan Berger voted to keep it that way. Again, shameful stuff from Mr. Berger. He's clearly part of the swamp. He has been for his entire 2 years. All of his buddies in Cheyenne are swamp monsters. And guys, in our experience, if it looks like a rhino, walks like a rhino, talks like a rhino, it's very likely a rhino. That's the recap on Ryan Berger. Dangerous stuff when it comes to gun rights. That brings up Bob Wharff. Now, Bob was in the House for the 2 years prior to Ryan Berger. And in that time, Bob's experience and Bob's actions are pretty much the exact opposite of Ryan. Bob was a leader in the fight for gun rights in a major way. He did not seek re-election to the House 2 years ago, so Berger got the seat. And I think what happened is, I'm just putting words in Bob's mouth, he probably saw Ryan undo or attack gun rights and go the opposite direction that he had been as a gun rights champion. He's now primarying Ryan Berger. In his 2 years in the House, Bob Wharff was a champion. Lead sponsor on House Bill 116. This bill became law. Everyone knows that we've got constitutional carry in Wyoming, had that back since 2011. No permit requirements to carry a firearm here. The problem is, when that was passed, it was limited to citizens of Wyoming only, residents of Wyoming only. The problem then is if someone drives through our state on vacation thinking that constitutional carry applies to them, they could be tripped up by that limited code section. So we wanted to expand that and make sure it applied to all law-abiding citizens in America who happen to be in Wyoming. Bob Wharff was the lead sponsor on that. That is now law. That is House Bill 116, a major accomplishment for Bob Wharff. Also lead sponsor, let's see, that was 2021 that happened. He's also the lead sponsor on House Bill 133. This is the Second Amendment Preservation Act. This is 2022. SAPA is a very big deal for gun owners in red America because if you've got a red state like we have in Wyoming, you've got good gun laws like we have here in Wyoming, it doesn't count for a whole lot if Joe Biden can call the ATF and the ATF then calls local cops here in Wyoming and says, we want you guys to help us enforce this new federal executive order, pistol braces or bump stocks. That's how it works. The feds call locals and say, help us enforce this. We'll send out 2 feds and 10 locals, and we'll do a task force, and we'll go grab these items. We don't want Wyoming cops enforcing Biden's gun control agenda. I'm sure we all agree on that. And we dang sure don't want Wyoming cops to enforce Kamala Harris's gun control agenda, God forbid, right? So SAPA is designed to say, you know what? We're a sovereign state. We have our own state constitution that defends gun rights. We have our own laws that are passed by our own legislature. We have our own cops paid for by, funded by our own taxpayers, and they enforce our gun laws, not the federal government's gun laws. Bob Wharff was the lead sponsor on that bill. It was a major fight in 2022. Of course, the rhinos ran a parallel version with no teeth, no real enforceability. That version passed as a cover vote to protect politicians, but Bob Wharff had the guts to sit there on the floor and fight like hell for HB 133. It's a major accomplishment for him. That fight is ongoing. He's also the lead sponsor on House Bill 117 in, confirm here, 2021, gun-free zone repeal. The same bill that we passed this year. Bob was fighting for that and carried that bill back in 2021. So guys, you got years of history here of Bob Wharff fighting like hell for gun rights. And because of that, the last point, Bob Wharff is hated by the rhinos in Cheyenne. Now, there might have been a time back in the day when no one wanted to be disliked by anybody. We all wanted to get along. We all wanted to be friends. That's not how life works anymore in politics. We are in the fight of our lives to keep our country and our states free for our children, for our grandchildren. And some people are on that side and some people are on the opposite side. And these days, if you're in a state capital anywhere in this country, if you're in Congress, if you're not disliked by those people who are trying to destroy our society, our freedoms, our state, our federal government, if you're not hated by those people, you're doing something wrong. We have to stand up and be counted in times like this. And Bob Wharff, the dude is hated today by the rhinos in Cheyenne. To us, that's a compliment to Bob Wharff. We want you guys to be aware of that. So the recap is very simple. Bob Wharff, 2 years in the House, leading the fight for gun rights, passing pro-gun bills, carrying big pro-gun bills, a fighter, hated by rhinos, 100% survey. If you see Bob, thank him for all he's done to protect and advance your gun rights. Ryan Berger, 2 years in the House, will not survey, votes for gun control, will not call for a special session, definitely part of the rhino swamp. If you see Ryan, ask him, why are you voting for gun control? Why are you backing bad amendments? Why won't you survey? What is your deal? Guys, that's our recap in this race. Do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or our website, share it on social media. Make sure other folks have this information before they cast their vote. And get more involved today, guys, at joinwygo.com.